Are you at a crossroads in your life? Are you? Are you wondering what's next and hoping it'll be a step in the right direction? I don't know. Welcome to Your Next Bold Move. Our show is all about helping you take your next step, whether it's career or relationships or life in general. Second acts do exist. Second chances do exist. And so stay tuned and let's explore together what's next for you. Hello, and welcome to Your Next Bold Move. My name is Wendy Capland. Our TV show is about providing you with inspiration and information to help you figure out what's next and to make and manage your next bold move. Today's show is about job search strategies. Our guest today is Kelly Villanueva. Kelly is a dear friend. She's a human resources senior leader. So Kelly is going to talk today about her next bold move, which is getting herself out in the job market, and maybe you can help her actually find a job.
Yeah.
So tell us, why don't you tell a little bit about your job and what you've been doing for work for all these years, and most importantly, where you are currently work-wise.
So I have been a senior human resources leader for probably the last 15 years. I've worked in a decentralized HR structure where I have managed and led HR professionals, and we've been responsible for everything: recruiting, learning and organizational development, employee relations, performance management, etc. I have, I think in the last 5 years, really focused on things like organizational effectiveness, which is designing and developing solutions for talent management, succession planning, helping identify high performers or key potential employees and creating retention solutions for them. So finding a job as a senior level HR leader, either as an individual contributor or helping lead or manage HR professionals, would be something I'd love to continue to do. And if I could find that in the Rhode Island or Southeastern Mass space, that's like a dream come true.
Right?
Yeah.
For those people who are listening, who know of a company, especially in the geography that you mentioned,
Sure.
who either has an opening or they have a friend or a relative or a neighbor who works for a company where they might be looking for a senior HR person, you would love to know about that.
Even if there aren't jobs, meeting people who
Right.
know people in the space would be great.
Right, because networking is so important.
Yes, it is.
Right. Most of the companies that I consult with are always looking at new acquisitions.
Absolutely.
I think as employees, our jobs, we know they're not permanent, but we act day to day like they are. So how has it been since you've been told?
Very sad. I was angry at points in time. I went through all of those, and I really got to a place where, you know what, I completely understand the decision. If I were in my boss's seat, it would be the same decision I would make, and I'm excited and ready to find the next, I'll call it career adventure. And even though it's scary, I'm going to go for it.
Let's talk about job search strategies and the things that you're learning.
Yeah. You know, 2/3 of the jobs, opportunities that are out there are never posted. And
Which
so
is kind of scary. Like, how do you find
Exactly.
the jobs if
Like,
they're
wait a
not
minute.
posted or
You know,
listed?
so I was shocked that I should have been spending more time building this outside network, because clearly that's where I'm going to find my next job opportunity.
Right. And
So,
are there tips to maintaining the network? Like, what kind of network? What do you think about when you think about networking?
as an example, I'm talking to a very good mutual friend of ours, and she said, geez, what companies are you thinking about? And I said, well, you know, I've created this target dream list of companies. Oh, I would love to work for company XYZ. Well, I happen to be having this conversation with her, and she's like, oh, my neighbor is a senior executive at that company.
Oh, no kidding.
I'll introduce you. And so it's just funny because she introduced me and he introduced me to somebody in the HR community there. And you know, while they don't have opportunities there today, I've now established a connection.
Right. So let's move to our slides. So talk about outplacement. That's the first one. Utilize outplacement services if offered. What does that mean?
It's an organization that will help you prepare for a job search. They'll actually help prepare your resume with you. They'll help you with interview strategies and tips. They may actually start to help you connect to a network of people. So they'll do a lot of work, and they have seminars, on different tips and things, and a lot of work around the resume.
I think some people feel it would be a shame not to take advantage of it.
It really would, and I've seen so many employees not, and I agree with you, because typically when you're given the chance to utilize outplacement, it's fresh on hearing the news that your position's been eliminated. So you're mentally and emotionally, you're usually in a tough spot.
Right.
But even if you think you know everything there is to know about creating a resume.
So let's talk about updating your resume, which is the second bullet on our slide.
Right.
So it's 2 paragraphs are segments of Kelly's actual resume.
Yes.
We thought it would be great for people to see exactly what a summary statement is and how to use action-oriented bullet points to talk about what you've done and how you've done it.
You really need to focus on creating a high-level picture of who you are, because the reality is that gets the most visibility when someone's looking at your resume.
Well, what they say,
the first thing.
Right, they say the top third of the resume is the only piece that people look at, and they spend like 11 seconds, and then maybe they glance through the rest of your resume.
I chose to go with a banner title because, again, that's the type of work I want to stay with.
Yeah.
So again, high level, try to hit the high points and give them a good feel for who you are. When you get to the action items, you want to think about what are the things I've done, and you want them to be action and result oriented statements.
Right.
So if you can't come up with an action result oriented statement for everything, make sure that the top third contains most of your action result oriented. So you'll see in my statement I talk about the work I've done around organizational effectiveness, and I know I reference, expense savings. I think it says of 10 to 15%. I talk about new business submissions increasing. It's showing that here's exactly what I did,
and the result
and here's the result and the impact that it had.
Okay, so now let's move to the LinkedIn piece, which what you say is to have a profile on LinkedIn. So talk about LinkedIn, because that's new for some people.
It is. A lot of recruiters are sourcing LinkedIn to find candidates for their jobs. So you want your LinkedIn site to be as up to date as your resume.
So we've talked about networking and how roughly you say 2/3 of all posted positions are filled without being posted.
Correct. Honestly, the biggest strategy is not to walk in and say, I need help, do you have a job for me? It's, hey, I'm in a career search mode.
Yeah.
Here are the companies I'm thinking about. Here are the people I've been talking to. Do you have any suggestions or tips for things I can do to continue to expand my career search, people I should be meeting with? Because along the way, someone's going to make a connection to say, oh, I talked to this woman by the name of Kelly Villanueva the other day, and I'm aware of this job, and they'll connect you.
Yes.
And that's the key for networking.
So your second suggestion, strategy, is to contact an employment firm.
Right, so there are all kinds out there. Some organizations don't post their positions publicly, but use search firms exclusively, and you'll get an in through that.
Okay, great. And job boards. So
yes.
You listed some job boards that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
So tell us about those.
I'm in learning mode right now.
Yeah.
I've signed up for all of these. I've told them exactly what kind of jobs I'm interested in.
So Indeed.
Simply Hired.
Right.
And if you're part of LinkedIn, LinkedIn has a job search board.
Great.
So you sign up and say, this is what I do, this is what I want. I get regular emails every day.
So today you just had a chance to hear Kelly Villanova's advice and her story. I'm hoping it gave you some kind of inspiration and maybe even information to help you along your path if you're somebody who's been looking for a job or out of work. There are things that Kelly needs where you might be able to help, as we've said today. So if you know someone that she could talk to about a human resource position or about the job search process, you can connect to her LinkedIn account. If you know of a job in your area or in your company that's looking for a senior HR person, that would also be sent her way. So thank you so much for joining us today. You can go online to both of our websites to join our community, to get some free support and some inspiration. We can be found at www.visionquestconsulting.com and www.themagicparties.com. A big thank you to Kelly Villanova for being with us and sharing her story today. And thanks to you, our listeners. You are meant to go forth in the world to use your gifts and talents.